not often that we at Road and Track compare a sports coupe with a sports sedan, but that's exactly what we've done in our August 2006 issue. And the new Audi RS4 and Porsche 911 Carrera4S couldn't be more different. They are both all-wheel drive cars with lots of power, but that's where the mechanical similarities end. The Porsche, as we all know, has its engine in back, meaning 60% of its weight is over the rear wheels. In typical Audi tradition, the RS4 has its engine hung way out over its front wheels, giving it a 59% front bias. In our test at the fabulous new Miller Motorsports Park in Tooele, Utah, the classic Porsche proves its worth. It's agile, responsive, and although the rear end can be coaxed into play to help drivers tighten their lines, the back end of the car remains planted in all but the hardest of driving. This doesn't feel like an all-wheel drive car. It feels like a classic rear-drive 911 whose front wheels kick in only when needed. The Porsche is a driver's car, one that gets around the track quickly but with lots of small steering corrections. All the while, the sweet 3.8-liter flat six sings its 355 horsepower song, complemented by some wonderful intake track sounds. With the sports setting switched on, the sounds are even better, and the throttle response much quicker, which is appreciated out on the track, where the Porsche is able to lap Miller's West Loop about 2.5 seconds quicker than the Audi RS4. The 420 horsepower Audi, on the other hand, well, sure, it's a bit slower around the track than the Porsche, but it's a much easier car to drive quickly than the 911. It feels absolutely stable, almost impossible to put a wheel wrong. Just pick your line, set your steering angle, and romp on the throttle when you're pointed in the right direction. This car works really well, and although 60% of the torque goes to the rear wheels, the RS4 doesn't feel like it wants to oversteer. Rather, that power to the rear simply helps eliminate some of the power on exit understeer that's so common in all-wheel drive sports sedans. In all, the folks at Quattro GmbH have built an impressive sports sedan. The naturally aspirated V8 makes great power all the way to its 8,250 RPM redline, and the Sport button calls up dramatically crisper throttle response. The hood and front fenders are aluminum to save weight, as are many of the suspension components, and we can only wish that someday the seats and steering wheel from the European RS4, which look like they're pulled straight from a DTM car, make it onto US models. Even so, several of us maintain that the RS4 reminds us of the Trans Am and GTO Audis raced by Hans Stuck and Hurley Awood so many years ago. Those were some good times for Audi, and the Quattro Advantage is just as effective now as it was then. When it comes to making a choice, understand this. The Porsche is a better sports car, the true sports car of this duo, but with an expensive as-tested price of approximately $100 grand. The Audi, on the other hand, is a real-world sedan that has the manners of a sports car, but one that's much easier for the average driver to drive fast. And at $68,000, it's the bargain of the duo.